How do you define loneliness? One might think it is being alone, but there is a great deal more to it. When I was single, I would sit at home wondering where I could go or who I could call to feel some sense of connection with the rest of the world. I had some friends I could hang with, go play some music, see some shows, but when the weekend rolled around they were off with their girlfriends with better things to do than keep me entertained. I would get in my car and head out to the Rainbow in Hollywood to dance and hobnob with the in-crowd. You'd have to pay a premium to head upstairs to where the dance floor and all the beautiful people mingle. Once up the stairs, there would be a sea of bodies all bouncing to the dance hits, which at the time were Billy Idol, Cars, B-52s, etc. There were plenty of very hot chicks and pretty boys all on the prowl for company. I never felt more alone or lonely as I did in this crowd. There I was, surrounded by people I'd like to know better, maybe talk with about music, maybe even finagle into one of them into the sack. More often than not, I'd end up alone when the 2 a.m. gong sounded and everyone was herded out into the parking lot. Many nights I left having never had so much as a conversation with another human being. While I could never claim to be as handsome or outgoing as many of the Hollywood actor wannabes, I'm not a hideous troll either. With my black leather jacket and fashionable winkle picker boots, I blended in pretty well. Maybe too well. I suppose I could have upped my popularity by coming to the party with a huge bag of cocaine as many of the others had, but that has never been my thing. I thought my award-winning personality would suffice. It did not. When you're alone, you can justify being lonely, whereas in the midst of a crowd you really start to feel like something is wrong with you. It's hard to imagine a 6 feet 2 inches man just disappearing in a crowd like some cruel magician cast a spell on him, but that's exactly what happens. People look right through you and you become invisible. Loneliness in a crowd is far worse than solitary loneliness. Years later I found myself in a situation that left me feeling very much like I felt on that dance floor. I was surrounded by all the things people strive for: a house, a dog, nice neighbors, and a wife. In spite of being surrounded by all the things people wanted, I could not have felt more alone. Everyone had their own agendas, they were wrapped up in their own dramas, and laser beam focused on their own shit. They simply had no time or energy to spare for anyone but themselves. Men and women find themselves in this situation all the time. They've been around long enough to build a life, but then look around and see all the flaws in their creation. Since their friends and loved ones are all part of their creation, they are left with no one to even discuss this with. Their significant others have heard all their stories and complaints and are understandably bored by them all. The friendship and passion that brought them together gets replaced with indifference. The reason to stay together shifts from desire to necessity. When there are kids in the mix, the couple stays together for the children's benefit, all the while resenting them as the reason they must continue to be unhappy. So finally, I get around to the answer you seek: what is the point of FWB relationship? When men and women get into the situation described above, they get restless and their only recourse is to reach out to a stranger. Many times, the man is seeking physical contact, sex, intimacy. The woman often needs financial assistance simply because society has made financial independence more difficult for women. This intersection of needs can be mutually beneficial. They can each be what the other needs, even if just for one night. A real FWB relationship doesn't actually start until there is a real friendship. If the two former strangers do find comfort in each other's company, they start to get emotionally involved. While the illicit rendezvous may have met their immediate needs, both parties have much more to gain from a real friendship. A quick roll in the hay or a fistful of spending money is only a temporary respite. Friends such as these grow to care for one another and provide much-needed comfort in other ways. They can lend an understanding ear, give a hug, make you feel attractive, desired and wanted. They can lift your spirits, give you confidence, boost your self-esteem and more. The key is friendship. Without it, the benefits are minimal and fleeting. They can escape their otherwise harsh reality and go have a laugh, a drink, see a show. If they end up in each other's arms at the end of the night, who can blame them? Society has programmed us to conform to social norms. We judge others and call them names like adulterer, immoral, cheater, poor, and worse when all they are doing is trying to find solace in a cruel world. Many advise this kind of relationship only works when those involved are devoid of feelings. I disagree. If you are a sex worker, you become devoid of emotional connection in the same way a garbage truck driver no longer notices the foul smell of his rig. Friends aren't like that. To make a FWB relationship work, you must really be friends. Caring, respectful, empathetic, understanding, honest friends. You can't be possessive, demanding, controlling, judgmental, or punitive. If you found a real FWB, treat them like a friend, and enjoy all the benefits. That's the whole point.